Glen Henderson joins us in studio. So give us the word on the boomer.
The boomers.
The baby boomer. It's a fascinating generation, right?
Yep.
A lot more interesting than the millennials, if you ask me. But what I heard the other day, Glenn, was that baby boomers have trillions of dollars of equity, or at least $1 trillion plus. Mm-hmm. But the savings, we have a crisis as a country for the money that's saved. So you do this silver hair tsunami with a guy named Steve Sexton, financial advisor, and a whole panel of experts. Talk about some of the advice you're giving to the boomers right now.
Yeah, and what it's focused around is the baby boomer generation, and that's exactly what you said, is a lot of the generation is they're very cash rich, and there's a lot of equity in their homes and other assets, but as far as their liquid assets, and there's not a big retirement account. They're living off of Social Security, They're barely scraping by, and there are others that have the great retirements and pensions and things that are in place. I mean, we see different levels of it, but one of the things that we're seeing that's very common is they're in homes that they've been in for 20, 30, 40 plus years. They're homes that don't fit their needs anymore, whether it's a 2-story home, they're 3,000 square foot homes with just 2 of them, they're on too much property, all these different things. And they know they need to transition, they need to make a change, but there's so much to think about with the downsizing.
And emotion.
And the emotion.
You know, I know my mom watches this show because we post all the clips online from the Midwest, and she and my dad are having that conversation. Mm-hmm. You know, they live in a 2-story house in the middle of Missouri, and they have their health. Yeah. God bless them. But they're having conversations around, you know, at some point in time, the stairs are going to get a little bit more difficult. But they've been in this house. When I go back and visit, I still stay in the room I grew up in. I mean, that's how long they've been in the house, over 40 years. Yep. So there's got to be a lot of emotion tied to this decision. I mean, that isn't just a 4 walls and a roof. You know, there's a lot of memories and community there. So that ties in too.
Yeah, families were raised, children were raised, grandkids, all the, like you said, all the memories and everything else that comes along with it. So yeah, it is a very difficult decision for the people to make. And one of the things in the advice that we try to give, or we give a lot, is the people that they wait because there's the unknowns, the fear, the emotions, all these different things. But then they get forced into a situation because, you know, somebody falls down the stairs, somebody gets sick, something happens that they knew might be coming up, but it's those uncontrolled, and then they're forced to make a quick decision where a lot of things become out of their control instead of making the decisions and creating the plan while they're still in control. And that's one of the biggest things that we try and talk and advise and guide on is, you know, make those decisions while you're still in control, while you're still able to. And then what we've done is created this panel in our ensemble of professionals that are able to help guide through the entire process, everything from the tax planning, the financial planning, and those people that, one of our favorite ones and that's fun to help is the people that are very cash rich. They have a lot of equity. They're barely scraping by off Social Security. Creating a plan where, okay, let's help you downsize, and then create from the money you're taking from the home, you know, maybe, and the way we plan with the mortgage or reverse mortgage, creating this whole financial plan where then they're able to transition into a new home. They have equity, or they have money coming in from the money that we were able to roll from the property. So now from being, you know, barely scraping by, they're in a home that fits their needs. They have income coming in, and then it creates a just completely different level of comfort for them to finish their life, or, you know, and it's so rewarding to be able to help people and guide through something like that.
Well, we talk a lot about real estate on the show. There's 20,000 realtors that have their licenses. We talk about that a lot. This is an example of how important the advice is. And one of the things that you just heard Glenn reference is that he has a team. So nobody, and really not just real estate, but in finance in general, there's no such thing as someone who knows it all. And I see this happen a lot in real estate, where the realtor is giving advice on the mortgage and the estate plan and the tax plan, and they're not licensed to do those things. So the Silver Hair Tsunami is an event you do, but you guys really carry that on, not just at the events, where if you have a situation, or someone right now is watching the show and they're a senior and they want to start having these conversations, you're going to introduce them to the right people. So the hub is kind of the real estate, but you will introduce them to the tax specialist to minimize that liability, to the financial advisor, the estate planner. You mentioned mortgage and reverse mortgage. These are also instruments. Like a reverse mortgage is a terrific financial instrument for somebody who has equity but doesn't have cash. So you guys bring it all together.
And it was really nice last week. We were sitting with somebody, and they said the last 2 years they've been thinking about this, and they had come to our event that we had last month. So we got to sit with them. So the last 2 years they've been thinking about this, but they're reaching out to one person over here, one over here. They can't get clear answers. They had just a smile and the weight that had been lifted off their shoulders, and they were so appreciative. They're, thank you. We now have access to all these people that we didn't know even existed, all these different options that we didn't know were there. And that's what we've really been a big focus, is being able to create that and become that hub. And it goes beyond just all the financial parts, but we have now services where we help people with the packing, the estate sales, the decluttering, all the way down to the moving, the designing of the next home. I mean, so it's really for the people that are having, health-wise that can't take on some of those things. I mean, it's a hands-off experience from the time we meet with them until they're in their new home. I mean, everything is taken care of.
One of the things I know about you guys as well is when you sell a home, you tend to get above listing price, top dollar. So Glen's pretty good at that, him and his team, Shannon Keatley, so that can help you afford some of these things as well. Exactly. So that added skill set, it really is a turnkey solution. That's the whole point. No pun intended. I mean, you're really turning, I think that's how they made the terminology, I think. But it's important. So if you find yourself in this situation, it's normal. I mean, again, 10,000 retirees a day, if not more, and many different situations. Everyone is unique, but Glen has an amazing team. I've actually been to the events that they do. The advice is second to none. And when they're not doing events, they're doing it every single day. So I really encourage you to reach out to them online, ask any questions you might have, and be another one of their success stories. Glen, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, whether you saw this show today or any day, our radio show, you heard it, or you interacted with us on social media, we always encourage you to reach out through craigsewing.com with some of your own questions, and we get them all the time. And coming up next, the Sewing Says segment, where I answer some of those emails. Stick around. Here it comes.